So I'm in Michigan this week at a conference, and I went for a walk on the beach this morning, and a thought struck me. And that's a thought that I want to share with many practice owners I meet. The thought is, don't sell your practice. Bring on a number two instead. This is a solution to two big problems that I find a lot of practice owners come to me with. I'm going to go over the problems, and then I'm going to talk to you about the solution and how much awesomeness it can unlock. So big problem number one is that there's so many practices stuck at between 2 to 4 million of revenue. And they maybe have around 400,000 of profit, maybe some more. At this point, you know you have a business that serves your community well, but you don't yet have an asset that you can sell relatively easily to secure your own financial future, and an asset that's going to be around after you've retired. If you want to know that your baby is going to be around and when it's time for you to move on, you can't be assured of that right now. Big problem number two, even if you can sell, you are suspicious of the large institutions that are out there and their agenda. Are they going to care about the humans involved? And if you do work with them, you're going to lose a ton of autonomy. And if you're at around the $400,000 profit mark, you may get lucky. There may be specific reasons why they might be interested, but they're probably not interested at that level. It's going to be tough to sell your practice anyway. So what's the solution? Here's what I think it is in many instances. It's to honestly ask yourself, what is the biggest bottleneck in your practice? What are you the worst at that the business most needs? Then find a minority partner, a superstar number two, who's going to unlock the next version of your business, is going to unlock version 2 of your business. It is a number 2 that is going to unlock version 2 of your business. Okay. What does your business most need? Is it marketing? Is it hiring? There's a couple of common categories that I see. And this number 2, it's going to be much less about the wealth that they bring to the table as a potential investor. It's going to be much more about the skills and the energy they bring. Every practice has the energy of the founder deeply embedded in it. And you can hire someone who can work on other aspects of the business that you're not great at. You can delegate. But there's something very different about bringing on a partner. There's something very energetically different about working with someone who thinks differently than you do, who sees the world differently than you do. And it's a very deeply vulnerable thing to do, to admit to yourself, there's certain problems in this business that I can't quite solve. There is a version of my baby that can grow into something very different, and something as deep as a partnership is going to be required to unlock that version. So it's a very vulnerable thing that I've had to do in the past, and I applaud others for doing because it takes courage. Now, the good thing is you can mitigate the risk here. So you can bring on a partner in a try before you buy way to ensure that the partnership works. And the reason ultimately that it's worth your time to do this is that very few group practices ever get to a really substantial level. I'm talking above $1 million of profit without a partner. And almost none get to, I would say, about 4 million of profit without a partner. I don't think I've seen a single one get to that point. I've probably seen around 3 million as the point where, in some really extraordinary cases, the founder is able to grow to that level without a partner of any kind. And even then, some very rare things have happened. So that's about the absolute max. In many instances, in 98% of instances, the max is going to be quite a bit smaller than that. And there's a reason that Y Combinator, which is the top startup accelerator in the world, there's a reason they almost exclusively want to work with partnerships, not solo founders. Business is tricky, and there's a unique journey involved, and it is way easier to go on that journey with a partner. There are risks, yes, because the wrong partner is going to fuck your shit up, There are risks, don't get me wrong. But I very much believe that those risks can be mitigated, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how to do that in a moment. But understand that your baby can't become what it's meant to become unless there's a partner involved. In almost every single instance, I challenge you to prove me wrong. So how do you mitigate the risks? How do you mitigate the risk of bringing on a partner that is not a fit? How do you mitigate the risk of a marriage that could end in acrimonious divorce? Well, you do a try before you buy. So you hire them. They can become an employee, a consultant. You do a try before you buy here. And that way, both parties can feel this out and know beyond a shadow of a doubt, yeah, this works. This is exactly what we should be doing. Now, you're also going to need a business that has enough potential to attract a true superstar. You don't want to do this unless it's a really high-quality person. They need to have integrity. They need to have exactly the skills they say they have. They need to be powerful enough and aligned enough with you that you're going to be marching in the same direction and the outcomes are going to be extraordinary. Otherwise, it's not worth your time. Bringing on the wrong partner is going to be agonizingly painful. So try before you buy and give them an opportunity to do the same. They need to feel as aligned in the partnership as you do. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So before any ownership changes hands, you can bring them on in a try before you buy way. Understand also that your business's potential needs to be clear enough. You need to be able to articulate to them, if you want a real superstar, what the potential is. They need to see it. They need to believe in it. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth their time. So I would say you're going to want to be at least at the sort of 300, 400K of profit point, especially if you want to do a try before you buy, because you got to be able to afford them. And you're not going to get them for $50,000 a year. So they're going to work with you to grow your baby past the 1 million profit point. And then as sales starts to get more interesting for you. And if you can get to the 1.5, 2 million and beyond profit marks, now we're really cooking with gas. Now we're producing a truly generational financial outcome. We're getting to the point where things get really, really interesting. And the human impact you can have can be so much more dramatic. Think about the benefits you can provide your clinicians at that point. You know, that whole journey of, are these clinicians actually going to stay? I found some good clinicians, but they could leave at any moment. Someone could offer them more money. Well, now we can build an organization that has a mission that's deeply compelling. We can have a train that everyone wants to jump aboard now because we're doing things differently here, right? We can now provide benefits to our clinicians and not just the normal stuff. We can provide really creative benefits. We can pay for them to be humans. And by the way, when we do that, they're going to do way better work. So now we've got a different type of group practice. To implement all this, it does take some work. So number one, you got to identify the bottleneck. You got to be perceptive and honest enough with yourself. You've got to find the right partner. You've got to structure the negotiation with this partner. If they're going to need a defined path to ownership. It isn't just going to be I'll pay you and then maybe you'll get equity. If it's the right partner, they're going to be capable enough negotiators, and they're going to believe in themselves enough that it's going to be vital to give them a pathway to ownership. So there's going to be legal complexity to making that work, but believe you me. But we can do all of that for you. Creating partnerships for group practices is what I love doing, both as someone that invests through Fireside, which is my main company, as well as someone that represents sellers and helps them unlock the next stage of growth and helps them build partnerships just like this. So if this sounds interesting, shoot me an email. This is a different way of thinking, but let me tell you, the future of group practices, it's clinician, non-clinician partnerships, because no one person has all the answers. You bring together the right people who are truly aligned, who share the same values. that's when you start making magic. That's when we can serve patients way better, and we're going to produce way better financial outcomes for clinicians, for you, and for your soon-to-be number two. If this resonates, Dan at firesidestrategic.com. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.